Hello and welcome once again to our family workshop. Now in this video we are demonstrating how to make a racing car in woods. The start of this process, what I actually did is print a photo of a racing car. I did this so I could look at how it is put together and the different components that make up a racing car. From that photo, I developed my own designs, drew them out on paper, and then transferred those paper designs onto the wood that I have chosen. I've stuck it onto the wood using a PVA glue solution. Now, another part of this process, we're demonstrating how you can use templates for marking out. So I've got a tea light and a coin that I'm using to mark out for the wheels. Later on, I actually decided to have all the wheels the same size, and so only use the tea light templates. We drill a hole in the main body of our car. We cut out on our scroll saw for that cockpit, so if we put a little model of a racing driver inside the car, it will allow a space for the driver to be able to sit into. You'll also notice that we did some hand sanding, and that's where we get the wood nice and flat, so it makes the scroll sawing slightly easier. After we've scroll sawed the gap for the cockpit, we then do a little bit of hand carving to increase the size of the gap at the bottom of the cockpit, which will allow a model of a racing driver to be put into that gap if we want to later on. We superglue a panel to the base of the main body of the car, so it gives a floor below the cockpit. Back onto then the scroll saw, and we cut out the main body of our racing car. With our basic outline of our main body of the car cut out, we turn our attention to the other parts of our racing car design that will add detail, character, and interest to the design. We've chosen different woods. So we've selected some juniper, some chestnut to go onto the main body of the car, which is Iroko. The idea with this then is you're going to have different colours in the design, and that should hopefully add an extra element of interest to what we do. That's the beauty of working with a scroll saw. It really does allow you the opportunity to take on a wide variety of different woodworking projects. The next part of the process that we turn our attention onto is making some dowel. The reason we need some dowel is to attach the wheels to the main body of our racing car. One method we use is to get a sash clamp or any piece of metal that has a hole in it, and to force a piece of wood through using a hammer to create that simple dowel. We also add the offcut that was left over from where we made our car back to the body of the racing car. Adding that offcut back to the main body is for the purpose of making sure that we drill our hole for the dowel to go through the body of the car nice and square on. So we're not going to then drill at an angle. We can use our pillar drill to get the hole drilled nice and straight. When making this car, we also have to think about shaping the body of the car. So we use our bandsaw to shape the nose and the tail, and then go across to our belt sander so we can get a nice rounded off shape and a better finish on the main body of the car. We also then use the belt sander to thin down some of the other parts of the design and shape them as well. This allows us to refine that basic outline that we have cut on our scroll saw. Our attention starts to go across to putting the design together. So we're using our Starbond superglue, and we start to glue the different aspects of the design to the main body of the racing car. With this then you may want to draw lines on and measure things out, just depends how accurate you want to be. We have that halo to protect our racing driver, and that part of the design needs to be carved so it will fit onto the main body of the car correctly. This part of the design we can also put on the belt sander to shape it and to refine where we've cut it out on the scroll saw and also hand carved it. We're using a higher grit, and this means a finer finish, helping us out then when we go to do our hand sanding later on. Our attention turns to the making of the wheels. So the part of that process that we start with is to drill the hole that will be used to feed the dowel through. We then go across to our scroll saw and we cut out the profile for each and every one of our wheels. The wood we've chosen for these is some teak. It's darker in colour, so it seemed to fit in nicely with the darker colour that you would have on the tyres. A little bit of hand carving on the tyres just gives it some extra detail and extra character, gives it that idea of where the outside of the wheel is just a little bit more bold than the inside of the wheel. The wheels and attaching them to the main body of the car is an important part of the process. So what we've also done is to create almost wooden washers to sit inside the wheels to keep them slightly further away from the body of the car. This means that the wheels will turn more easily and will not be obstructed in their movement by the main body of the car and the other aspects of the design that have been attached to that main body. So we cut them out on the scroll saw, and then we go back across to the main body of the car and start to put the wheels, the washers and the dowel onto the design. We use a little bit of our Starbond super glue to stick the wheels to the car. This you have to be careful with. We want to stick the wheels to the dowel, but we do not want to stick the dowel or the washers to the main body of the car, allowing the wheels to move freely. If you have excess dowel either side of the wheels, you can use your scroll saw just to cut away the excess. Same process then with the back wheels. You add the dowel to the body, the washers inside the wheels, and then super glue the wheels to the dowel. We're also super gluing the front wing and the back wing to the main body of the racing car. This helps us to check that the wheels are free from any obstructions, and that will allow them to move nice and freely. The top of the back wing, that's added after the side pieces have been super glued. We add the halo, the two mirrors, and then the final part of this process is to add our shellac sanding sealer. As always, it's that same process where we will add 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, rubbing it down in between each coat. We then finish off adding linseed oil mixed with beeswax. So we put a dab of linseed oil on the brush, then brush into the beeswax to give us a nice finish. So there you go, that's the process that we use for making a racing car in woods. If you're interested in that process and you'd like to have a go at making it yourself, you can find a link in the description to the design that I drew out. Feel free to use it, and we hope you enjoy the process of making it. Thank you again for watching. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you know when we upload another video. And thank you again for watching.